Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 486. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
What's up?
And Tony Korkanakis.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, viewers, to 486 of the Gamecast. Tony, kick us off. You were at PAX. I want to hear all about it. Kick us off. I don't care. What's the story to do?
All right.
Coronavirus. Go.
Yeah, no, it felt like an old PAX.
That's what I heard.
Because,
and it's not for great reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. I benefited from it, which is fine. Because, I mean, like, Sony would have just been a Last of Us booth. And, that's great and all, but, I'm not going to wait in line, excuse me, to play that game.
What?
Nothing. You got it. You shouldn't have went.
Yeah.
The cough.
No, I had a mint in it way down the pipe. But, that and, like, I forget if you guys were there, but Facebook started showing up a couple of years ago, and, like, they always had this huge booth, but they weren't there either. So, like, there's just a lot
Last year, I think there was, like, this big glass
Yeah.
right?
Display. Yeah, it was weird.
Wow.
But, yeah, it was pretty awesome. The lines weren't too bad at all for anything. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So the games I played, I did try the Animal Crossing demo, because I was able to get the warp pipe extension thing or whatever like that, and that was fun. They made you play the multiplayer mode, like they made you play with like 3 other people to like, because that's like the new thing in this one
Feature, yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because when it was my turn to be the leader, I was like, oh, where's Isabel? And the Nintendo rep or whoever was like, oh, she's over here. And I was like, okay, I want to go talk to her. And as soon as I sat down to talk to her, I started being like, I want to evict some villagers. Like, get these fuckers out of my town. And the Nintendo rep was like, let's not kick everybody out. I need people to be around for the rest of the day, stuff like that. So I kind of trolled that. I did try the Final Fantasy VII demo, which I didn't know was being released to the public on Monday. Because
Okay,
if I had
played it yet, so I still want to hear your impressions. So go for it.
Yeah, if I had known that, I wouldn't have waited.
Well, you didn't wait too long, though, right?
No, like less than an hour.
No,
because they did the same thing where like in the morning you go by and pick up a ticket and it has a time slot and it's like you just come back for that time slot and stuff like that. But no, it's a really good looking game. It feels like a refined Final Fantasy 15 battle system and stuff like that. So yeah, you use like square to do your melee attacks or main attack, and then you build up meters, and then once you build up meters, you can press X to use like either items, spells, or abilities and stuff like that.
It's location based too, like because you have full movement during combat, so it's like where you're hitting also matters too.
Yep.
Okay.
And you're targeting and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can target and lock on to different enemies.
Yeah. So it's really cool. The demo's pretty hefty, actually. Probably I'd say like 20-25 minutes. Takes you up through the first boss of the game and stuff like that. And
it's a huge nostalgia trip. I mean,
I can't wait to. I can't wait to dive into that, just so you know. Yeah.
It's like 100%. They take you right to the beginning of the game. It's like, oh shit, this is.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yep. So that was really cool. And then, I'm trying to think. Square obviously wanted to push that game. I posted a picture of my Instagram account, but they had the replica bike that they had people make. Not working or anything like that, but like you'd sit on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I got a picture of that, and that was pretty awesome. Just like, oh, cool, like that's something I want a picture of. And I actually got to play the Final Fantasy 14 demo because they're doing this thing that's like, oh, if you play the demo, we'll give you like the base edition for free in a month. And I was like, oh, well, you know what? Why not? I mean, I could try it out because I keep just hearing amazing things about that game, even if you're just like looking
really
for the story.
Good. It's successful now. So.
Yep. Exactly. Those are probably like the biggest games I played. I played a bunch of indie games. Star of the show for me in terms of indie games is this one called Panzer Paladin, which I believe is coming to most of the systems. But it's like this 8-bit Nintendo-like game that looks like a cross between like I'd say like Mega Man and like Blaster Master. So what you are is you play as this female human character who partners up with a giant robot like mech suit, and so most of the stage you're in the mech suit. But kind of like Blaster Master, there would be sections of the map that like you can't reach because you're in a giant mech. So you hop out and plays the female character who's obviously a little weaker and stuff like that. So it's a balance of that. But it was really fun. It has like the DuckTales / Shovel Knight mechanic where like you can like bounce hop on enemies and stuff like that. So that looks really cool. Looking forward to that. I think it's coming out later this year. Trying to think of what else. There was this shark game, Maneater, that looked really fun. I didn't play that, but you play as a shark and kind of like Sharknado.
That's like a mobile game too, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
It looks like one of those mobile games, but it seems pretty crazy to just eat people.
Yep. So there's that. What else? I got to meet Kamiya from Platinum Games because he was there.
Nice.
They're promoting Wonderful 101.
Yeah.
And I totally didn't realize that they were doing a signing session with him. So I didn't bring anything with me, and I was like, shit. Thankfully, they had a booth there to promote the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter and everything like that. And Saturday, they had posters if you played the demo. And I was like, it's Saturday. There's a line because it's Saturday. Saturday was still busy. And I'm like, look, can I just buy the because they had an exclusive T-shirt there. I was like, can I buy the T-shirt and you can just give me a poster? Like, I love this game. I bought it, full price on the Wii U. I've already, backed on the Kickstarter. I just need this to go over to the sign and get that sign. And they're like, okay, just don't tell anybody. I'm like, yeah, sure, I won't tell anybody. And I did at the show. So that was really cool. I got to have them sign the poster and shirt, so I'll have to get that framed. Yeah, that was really cool. That was pretty much it for like the big experiences. Like there weren't any bigger games than I'd say Animal Crossing and Final Fantasy VII. Those are like the main draws of the show. I did want to check out Baldur's Gate 3 because that's an awesome game I wanted to try out, but didn't get to do that. Other than that, though, I mean, the show floor was awesome. Like, it's really cool because in the back now between the video game area and the board game area, they have a couple like food booths set up, so you can get like food. And then there's that company now this year. This is the first time I saw like Wild Bills or whatever. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the sodas.
Yeah, the sodas.
Yeah.
They had like 3 or 4 stations on the expo floor, so you could just.
That's the one where you get the cup, right?
Yeah, the mug.
Yeah, because I saw so many of those at PAX Unplugged. Like everybody had them. So.
They've been at like so many conventions. I've been to like New Jersey too. It's been like it's
like Comic-Con.
The smaller. Well, that too. The smaller conventions are like Heroes and Villains Fan Fest. They were there. Yeah. So hell, even the dog convention they were there.
Yeah,
the one I went to, the pet convention.
They got to make a killing. Yeah. Like. It's a large upfront cost. I think it's like $30 or whatever, but like free refills all day or all weekend.
Yeah.
I think
it wasn't really costing.
You get a mug too. So.
Right, you got a nice mug. And
a little belt holder for it.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a really good show. The weather fortunately wound up being pretty good, so it wasn't like disastrous and stuff like that.
Because we've been to Boston when they had like you couldn't
blizzards. Yeah,
you could see fences. They were covered in snow.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was an awesome.
Did you go to any panels or anything?
No, there's nothing that like really drew me in, and most of them I think are recorded or streamed anyway.
You can always watch the pods.
Right, so that's the thing is like I'm not gonna waste my like showtime anymore if there's recording and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a pretty good show. Super excited about going next year because this is one of those ones that like just razzle dazzle of the show. Like in my opinion, like this is like. I don't know. I guess on a different level than like E3 because it's more like customer focused and stuff like that rather than like, hey, here's like a bunch of AAA bullshit games that you're gonna pre-order anyway and stuff like that. Whereas like this, it's a nice balance of the AAA and indie community and stuff like that.
Did you do your Magic stuff?
I did a little bit of Magic stuff, just like Unplugged. I was very particular about it this time around. I commit to like a full weekend package or anything like that. It was just like, hey, I have time right now. I have time for this, stuff like that. So I snuck that in. Got to play a lot of Secret Hitler. Oh my god,
gosh.
it was good because it felt like the old days where Werewolf Resistance were popular.
Yeah.
That game was a lot. I only played that game once, I think, with you guys. I loved that Secret Hitler one. That was really good.
Yeah, it was just a really good time in general, and there's a lot of people that were just like living it up at the show, and like we just had this like core like 6, and like throughout the weekend like you could find like probably like half those people like just playing a game of Secret Hitler, so we'd like have people like swap in and swap out and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean it was a really good time. Definitely post-con depression is kind of setting in now because I'm like, wow, there's not another one for a long time now because it's just kind of like getting that dry season for the East Coast. So
yeah
we'll see.
So I mean, like last week they had GDC canceled, right? Or not yet?
And GDC was canceled. Yeah.
So. Well, postponed.
It was postponed. That's right. Yeah. So there's really not even a lot of conventions now with the coronavirus like scares going on. E3 is still going ahead. I'm not getting the news entirely here, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's convention-wise, I don't know if people are going to want to go to them right now with everything that's happening. So we'll see.
It's funny. I was playing. I was at my board game night, whatever, and we're just like everybody's just fist bumping, going coronavirus, instead of like shaking hands.
Oh, you know, I do want to mention that. Shout out to the Boston Convention the BCEC. They did an awesome job of. I saw workers constantly like using sanitizer on like handrails, escalator rails, like elevator buttons, like full force, all that stuff. And most all the exhibitors had hand sanitizer at all the stations. As disgusting as it is, I didn't see one person never not wash their hands after using the bathroom, because that used to be a thing where I'm just like, dude, like, come on, that's fucking McNasty right there. Like, come on.
So
man.
I mean, I guess some positives coming from that, like people are learning to be more sanitary.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It was really great. But yeah, awesome show. I think they've really figured out the logistics of, a lot of it, because even like the queue hall wasn't too bad the one day I went, where they just
somebody could have like done a really good marketing job with like sick masks or something. Like I feel like
it's funny you mentioned that, because there was this one dude that was like cosplayed straight up in like a hazmat suit, and he was actually giving out like paper masks and stuff like that to people. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, it was a really good show.
Cool.
I didn't hear about the Gearbox panel. I know Corey, you were.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
All right.
Corey,
what did you go show up Thursday?
Did you go, or did you?
No, I didn't go, but I watched it. I made sure to watch the Gearbox panel, because I'm super excited for it, and they did talk a lot of Borderlands, because a lot of times the Gearbox shows they want to spread it around. They got other stuff other than Borderlands, but this was an hour and a half, and probably an hour and 10 minutes was Borderlands.
Cool.
So
DLC.
First off,
right.
Yeah, they showed a roadmap for Borderlands 3, which this month, in the end of the month, we're gonna get the second major story DLC, which is in the season pass. So this is a paid DLC. It's called Guns, Love, and Tentacles. It's the theme is the marriage between Hammerlock and the Jacobs guy from the game, and in the credits of the game, they show like little comic strip stuff, and one of them is him proposing to the guy. So this is about that, and a couple returning characters are coming. So that's at the end of the month. Borderlands 3 is also coming to Steam this month, which is a big thing for a lot of people, and you will have cross-play between Epic and Steam. Nice. So you can play with, if you're on a computer.
They have cross-play. That's really cool.
Yeah. So it's going to be out day one between Steam and Epic users. And then are
they doing console cross-play?
No, not yet.
The wall's still up.
It is. They've been trying to they've been banging on it, just it's not budging yet.
Yeah.
They also teased DLC 3, which is going to be a kind of a Western theme with dinosaurs. That was like the concept art they showed. And then they teased DLC 4, which is going to be a Krieg inspired DLC. Krieg was the Psycho Vault Hunter from Borderlands 2. So that's going to be focused on him. And then they're also going to have another free raid. They call them takedowns in this, which is going to be based on the Guardians, which are the extraterrestrial element in Borderlands. That's going to be coming out in April, I think they said. They've been updating the game like crazy, patching stuff, and they had their Valentine's Day event, which had a bunch of things. And then they've also thrown some patches in that made a couple guns that were essentially memes because of how bad they were. They actually buffed them 1,000%, and now they're the best guns in the game. So it's pretty fun to play with those. So watch that. And I mentioned the movie cast. They got the director Eli Roth of Hostel and Cabin Fever fame. He's going to be directing the Borderlands movie. He came out, talked about what he's excited for it. So it's exciting to hear they're moving forward with it. And who knows, like I said, maybe we'll continue this trend of decent. And Randy Pitchford actually said, like, we're in like the era where video game movies can be good. He's like, you guys saw Sonic, right? It's not bad.
Wow. Okay.
It was
Yeah,
good,
so
yeah.
that came out, and so yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out. If you went to the panel, you got a free code for exclusive skins and heads, and then he gave
cool.
everybody code for golden key and stuff. So that was cool.
So didn't bring any food. They used to bring food.
You can't. They're not allowed to.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, conventions. Obviously, right now it's probably not a great idea, anyways. But it's still. I know he always mentioned he'd love to do that again. So
Yeah. That was really fun the last time.
Yeah.
But so watching that got me into the hype of Borderlands again, and so I've been playing a bunch of Borderlands.
Cool.
And the Maliwan Takedown I mentioned last week, I hadn't beat it before, so I was like pounding my head on it, and then I finally beat it, and then I beat it again, and there's exclusive loot which I didn't get last time, but this time I got the exclusive loot, which is nice because it's one of the better guns for the character I main. There's a really good build with that gun, so that's exciting to I'm excited to go and mess around with that. Yeah, so that's mostly what I've been up to in the gaming world. I have played a lot of board games. I do want to mention one because I played it last night, actually. It's called Barrage.
Mm-hmm.
The theme is really weak, but it's a worker placement Euro game where you're trying to generate power by having these wind turbines push water that's coming down a mountain. So you're basically building dams to stop water, and then to use conduits to push the water through pipes into energy buildings. And that's the whole point of this game. But the cutthroat and decision making doing this game is just so crazy. And every turn I felt like this move I'm making is the worst move ever. And why did I do that? And the next move is what was I thinking? It's everything is there's always a better option, but there's so many choices and decisions that you're trying to make, and there's 6 rounds in the game, I think, and in the first 3 rounds I had 0 points. And I end up in third, second almost. The guy who's in second was 1 point ahead of me, but and so I don't know, this game, just out of that one play, it's one of my favorite games of all time already. This is so amazing, this game. I'm so happy with it. And like I said, the tension between every turn and every round is just so, and the choices you're making, you're always why did I do that? And then it's cutthroat because people just steal the things you're doing, and everything is cascading, all these things you have to think about, where this is happening up here, and then it's going down the board where water's flowing down, and it's gravity's the path of least resistance. So you can build a dam, and then someone can build a dam right in front of you and just fuck you up, because now you're not getting any of that water because you can't push your water through conduits if your dam is not the water that it's that's stopping that water. So it's really cutthroat and mean, but I love that aspect of it. So
backstabbing and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So yeah, definitely want to shout that out.
All right, Mike.
For me, I've mostly been playing more Batman Arkham Origins. Going back to that. And,
I can't believe we went back to that.
Yeah, no, I started before.
I know. Yeah.
I'm just going through all the older ones, and this one, of course. We're figuring, at least I'm figuring that the next Batman game
gotta happen.
WB Montreal. So I wanted to see what was it about this game that I liked and didn't like, and I played through the whole story already. It's not too long, and it did have some good environments. I remember the final offer. That's the big ship. There's also a large section in a hotel, the Royale Hotel, which was pretty cool too. The actual open world's a little bland compared to, I think, City. But the biggest thing that I've noticed is that the actual combat, now that I'm going into the challenge modes and rooms, and it's funny because with the way backward compatibility works, anything I did in this game online, it knows by gamer tag that it's there, but doesn't know that I'm me. So I see it as my friend, my own gamer tag as a friend who had a higher score on all these challenges.
Why? Really? That doesn't seem right.
Well, then it goes away. If I beat it, I don't see that listed anymore as but it looks like how it would as if a friend has a higher score than me in the challenges. So it's pretty funny. So I can see if I can compete against my 6 or 7-year-old self in certain challenges, which is fine. And
6 or 7-year-old self.
Years ago.
Yes. Yeah. And but what I've noticed is compared, especially since I just played the remasters of Asylum and City, that the actual combat in this game compared to those is so broken. It's considerably worse. I don't like some of the new enemy types they added in this game. They had those ninja guys who counter your counters or do like double attacks, and they seem imprecise and they kind of break the rhythm of the game a little bit. And then there's the electric gloves that are kind of a cheaty thing that you can get near the end. And just in general, like things don't quite work as seamlessly in the combat in this than the Rocksteady versions. I'm not exactly sure why, and it's hard to explain. There's just things are either require more precision of you, but the movements are less precise in a way. I don't know. It's just a little bit clunkier for some reason, and I find myself having trouble matching my old combat scores more than the Predator scores, where I could, match them again on the older games, the other Rocksteady games. So I don't know. I hope that if they make a new one, they don't like mess it up like that again. But there's a lot of content in these games. I'm actually going through the campaign challenge modes, which I'm sure you guys don't even really know about, but
Nope.
that's when you do 3 different challenges in a row and as a campaign, and they group them up, and you have certain buffs or debuffs that you can apply to each stage of it, and
modifiers.
Try to get
Yes, they were in the original. No, this Arkham City, right? Arkham City had them.
They
right?
were in City, yeah.
I think I remember doing that.
The reason why I'm doing it in this is because you need to do them to get all of the regular challenge maps. There's a few things that are locked behind silly things. The worst thing is, I don't know if you guys remember this either. There's like the Dark Knight system where there's objectives you have to complete to sort of unlock something at the end, it'll be like, oh, knock down a guy with this, or take out 2 guys. There's a double takedown. The problem is, and it goes like from 1 to 15. The problem is that you can only do it in order. So if you do some of the required things way ahead of time, it doesn't count. And if you're stuck on something that you just don't do, you won't progress at all. So what happened is I beat the game and most of the side missions, but I'm at like level 3 in this thing where I need to unlock the shock collar takedown thing with the battering, and I'm never going to do it because I'm out of Predator rooms in the main story, because it doesn't count the challenge rooms, which is stupid. So there's a lot of dumb little things in it, but I still enjoying it enough. And other than that, a little bit more Apex Legends, which has a big update, and I don't know why it's so big, because I played it and it doesn't do anything other than there's a new mode, but the mode is literally just all the loot is in the same spot every time you play it, which sounds rather uninteresting as an optional game mode. Maybe
Halo. You got to race for that sniper rifle.
Yes, I don't really like the idea that. I kind of think that defeats half of the purpose of the game. But maybe if I played it, it would be different. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right. For me, I went finally into Shenmue 3. I started that up, and I've been, nostalgia is a bitch, or I don't even know, but it's just like, this game is not what I remembered how good I love Shenmue 1 and 2, and I understand they weren't perfect games, but I don't remember.
A much bigger budget too.
Yeah, but I don't remember why, watching the millions of cutscenes in these games, and then them being so disjointed, because every time the camera, it's a cinematic cutscene. Every time the camera would change positions, the screen would go black, and then start up like a new scene. But they'd still be talking like they were just talking anyways. So he'd be like, "So where are we going?" And then she'd be answering.
They do a full fade to black for
yes. So it's so where are we going? Oh, the village. It's just down the way over here, and they're still walking. He's like, "Oh, okay." And then they go black, and then come back up. So how much further is the village? And I'm like, this is actually like dialogue from them, and it's terrible dialogue. I mean, I gotta say the voice recording on this is so bad. It is god awful bad. It's probably one of the it's almost like the voice actors got together, they read sections of this stuff, not it's like nobody returned the lines back to them when they were reading them, so they just read all the lines in a boom 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 boom, okay, wrap it. They didn't try to act it out, you know what I mean? So it's everything sounds like it's a robotic answer to each other, it's almost like they don't belong with each other in a dialogue. It's so weird. It's just, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I mean, it's so, like, I notice all this stuff so much that I'm like, I have no idea what's going on in the story, because I'm like, I can't follow you when the screen goes black, but you're still talking about, like, I don't know. And then the worst part is like, oh, we have to go to the village over there. And then he responds, are we going to your village over there? Like, that's the dialogue. Like, seriously, do we need to have that? That's old fat. Like, that is like 1995 level dialogue between people. It's unbelievable.
Do you remember if the older games were like this?
I don't remember there being as much repeated.
Definitely have, nostalgia glasses. When you look back on things, it's always going to look better, but it was always a little janky, like those games.
Because I'm curious, because I guess the first two are getting off Game Pass soon, so I might want to download them soon, give them a try.
The other gripe I have before I forget about it is the context sensitive areas. That, like, if I wanted to talk to somebody and I accidentally am near a door, it'll pick the door, and there's no way to cut. There's no way to skip that. So you have to watch him do a cutscene where he knocks on the door, stands there for about 5 seconds. Oh, nobody's home, and then it would go back, and then it would come back. every time, and you can't just skip it.
Got to emulate that RDR2, man.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I'm really, really. Oh, it's bad. Like, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the game was made on $10 million, which is a lot of money, but for a video game, especially since the first one bankrupt Sega, it's like.
Yeah. Then I'm not too surprised. I ended up coming to my senses and saying it's time to go back to Control and play Control, and so I did.
And you've been fighting with this game for.
I did. I've gotten past. I was only about 60% through. I think I was like I was past the halfway point, but just past. And now I looked ahead. I'm trying to see how far. I'm not reading anything. I just want to see how far I am in headlines. So now there's only 2 more sections of the game for me, and each section only takes about like 45 minutes ish or an hour. So I'm not far from the end of this game now. But I just went back and played it, and the game gets, like, in the middle of the game, right after that, like right after where I was apparently, like, it gets really cool with the powers and everything, like the way you can kind of mix them together. So now I can see the draw for this game. Like, the story is still fucked up. I have no idea what's going on in this fucking story. But the gameplay is so cool. Like, again, it's like a Remedy game where they've had this aspect of things with, like, this certain thing that they do, like bullet time. Yeah, they have this thing, and it's really done well. Like, okay, I'm like, I get why now people love it. I just wish they made something that was more coherent to what's going on. I don't know. I mean, I'm playing it. For me now, it's like, okay, this is the X-Files. I'm not going to really understand what the hell happened. I'm just going to play through it. So, but it's fun. So I'm going to finish that up very soon. And I think that's it. I feel like I'm forgetting a game.
You'll remember it later.
I will. So I know I played one more. That's going to bother me. Shit. All right. Anyways, that's it for the game. What we've been up to. Pokemon? I've started Pokemon.
Oh, sorry, Pokemon. Sword or Shield?
Shield. Which I always said I wanted to get Sword, but Shield was the one that was on sale. So it was a used game that they had that was discounted.
They had to buy to get, like, wasn't it?
But all they had was Shield, so I got Shield that day.
Isn't there some numbers that, like, the sales difference between them is, like, way more drastic than it should be? I think I read that, like, Sword sold a lot more for some reason. People were just more impressed by the idea of Sword than Shield.
I was gonna get Sword as well, but Shield. I don't know. I actually it's very nice to play a game that's like in your head when you're playing the first Pokemon game. This is kind of what I envisioned. Like when I played Red and Blue, that's in my head. That's what I saw.
Right.
And then, like, I think that's why I didn't really like the 3DS game that I played, because I'm like, this is, to me, it felt clunky. It wasn't great for me. Like, there's that big glitch area in the city. Remember, they had that huge glitch, like, game ending thing. Like, it would, like, not game ending, but I forget what happened exactly, but you get stuck. I don't know. This game is so much more of what I was expecting to be in the world of Pokemon, like a bigger game, and it's impressive. I'm considering how fast they whipped it together. Like, as you know, they put this together quick. I'm pretty impressed with what they've done. So as a casual fan, I understand like hardcore fans are maybe not the biggest fans of this right now. Some of them pretty are, but I think it's great. I mean, it's bringing people like me back into it, and it's perfect for it's the game we need. It's the Pokemon game we need. So,
maybe not the one we deserve, but the one we need.
It's the one we need. It's like I'm not gonna compare it. Like, it's not directly compared here, but it's like Fire Emblem Awakening. Like that game was that brought in so many new fans, and by doing this, back people and old and new people as well, because you're not bringing all that garbage from prior years. This is like starting anew almost. Even though they're giving you options to do that in the future possibly, but whatever. So in any way, so yeah. That's it. All right, back. Let's get into the news. Let's open this on up here. Do we think this is real? Kojima Productions maybe have been teasing Silent Hill. Do we think this is real?
No. Not Silent Hill. They might be doing something similar.
They'll just do their own game.
Yeah. It's not going to be like Silent Hill.
Like they would have to pay.
I cannot see Konami and Kojima working together anytime soon.
No.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I don't know. I think that I don't know. They're working on a horror game. We know this, and then maybe they're just trolling people with the whole silent and then the temple. They had the pyramid folder name, and he used the word silent when he was tweeting about it. So that kind of got the whole internet abuzz. But we know Konami was talking about doing a soft reboot of their Silent Hill series finally. You know, maybe they've come to their senses and saying, you know, listen, Kojima already had a idea for this. What if we worked with his production studio now going forward? Because, you know, there's bad blood there, but can that stay forever if you finally like you finally want to make this game and he's still going to have, like, it's still his company making the game. So it's like, it's not the same as Konami, him working for Konami. It is, but it's not the same exactly.
I mean, the thing is, money always
benefit.
Money always talks more. So I'm sure if there's a lucrative enough deal, they'll find a common middle ground. But I just don't see why he would do that when he would just do something. He could create his own unique new IP.
Own the IP himself and like do what he wants with it and get all of his actors in there and face.
I guess the only
star Jeff Keighley.
The only other side of it would be that Death Stranding probably didn't do what he expected or hoped.
See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I always hear about actors that do like, they do the fan piece, then they do the artsy piece, right? They do their, you know, I've heard that. I think that was the big thing of Entourage, wasn't there? Something like that it was in that show. But like, I always think about that when this happens. So it's like, Kojima got to do his vision for a game, like now
art house thing.
Yeah, will he take one of these projects that work with Konami to make a Silent Hill game to put out?
Something I mean, you back up a dump truck full of cash. Yeah, I mean,
and that's what you need to do. Is I know we talked about it before, but like Platinum Games is the same thing. Like they have to
take that
like,
Sega money and make Borderlands 2, you know.
Exactly. You got to do it sometimes. You got to do those easy money projects so that you can fund the passion project.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is this gonna this will help him fund Death Stranding too? So, I could see being a possibility. I don't know. E3, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, the E3 2020 is still moving ahead according to them. Coronavirus be damned. They're going to go ahead, even though GDC has now canceled postponed their show.
It was like rats, man. They were just like flying off of that ship. It's like
my thing for the ESA here, E3 is in so much shit trouble already with like people dropping out, them leaking all that, you know, data that they did. I mean, do you want to have like this during a like possible breakout time, like crisis time? Like, what's the point, really?
I mean,
is it admitting them? Is that them admitting? What's the point? Is that is that the problem? Like, do they admit themselves that they're done?
What, they're all there to like kill themselves? Like, what are you saying?
Do you think that this coronavirus thing is still gonna be as bad as it is in July?
I mean, this is June, isn't it?
Oh, is it June? Well, it's still June.
I mean, I think it's still the thing months. Is we don't know what it's gonna we don't know what this sickness is going to do over the warmer months. We don't know. That's the wild card. It could fizzle out in April. May could be done, or it could thrive in warm weather. We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know anything.
So we don't know. I'm not saying that it's not like, I'm not going to say like it's an epidemic. It's not yet. Obviously it is in certain countries, and we're working to stop that here. But conventions are known for, as we already earlier in this podcast, for not being the most sanitary places in the world, and already you're going to have companies drop out of this that they already don't have a lot of support for.
People are just. Well, I mean, just wash your fucking hands. That's it. Wash your hands.
That's also why too. Like they've lost a lot of momentum, so they're not gonna.
But they're gonna want for the sake of themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be that maybe they just want to recoup something. Like, who knows? They may not. They may not have a return policy. Who knows? Like, they rented all the space, and maybe it's better for them to get 50% of it back than to lose 100% of it. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
I feel like if they skipped it completely this year, it might never come back. So.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I was hinting at, Mike. I really don't know, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what they do. Oops, I dropped my pen.
Did you also see that the Plague Inc. app got removed from the China App Store?
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I love this article from the Business Insider with Google Stadia. Developers apparently are very slow to moving to that platform because Google is not offering a lot of money up front for them to come there, and they also echo the stance that we have mentioned multiple times in this podcast that Google doesn't stick with a product. So like why put the effort and time into something, and this is ultimately why this Google should not have gotten into this. Like, this is just this platform. This is dead for them. Stadia is not going to make it. I'm not saying another company, Microsoft or Amazon, can't do this and be successful at it. I'm saying that they can't be successful at it because of their. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I think this proves it with this article. I don't know. I mean, we've heard nothing on Stadia. The games they're giving out for free are crappy every month. They really are. They don't have a free version yet, right? It's not available on anything else but their Chrome Ultras, right? So, I mean, the thing is dead. It's dead. Let's just.
One would argue, was it ever really alive?
Did it ever live? That's interesting. That's a good question. That's the question of the night. All right, moving past this, let's move on. PS5. There's a leak now saying that Sony is actually developing 2 different console versions for them. I think this is also delaying the details of the system personally. That's why I think this is actually a credible leak. Obviously, we've heard stuff from Microsoft. We've gotten their specs for their Series X, but there's also talk about them coming out with a lower end model. Sony hasn't given out anything yet, keeping their cards close to their vest, and no price.
I mean, that reminds. I had a bold prediction that Sony would announce stuff in February, which did not happen. So.
Yes. I think this is our generation where this is happening. Like, instead of doing the iteration consoles where we had the Xbox One X, we're going to get the Series X and the Series S and the PlayStation 5 Pro.
You can still get iterations, Jim.
I think it's
3 years after they get released, there's going to be another one.
Higher ends. So, but then the Pro will be the regular, and then the Pro will be the Pro.
Iteration.
Yeah, that's it, and then the regular one's gone.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, it's still iterating on it.
But I think that's how you do this, because honestly, both of these consoles, no way they're under $500. No way that they're.
But like, again, there will be a $400 console.
There will be a $400 console. This is proven.
You have to. If you don't have a $400 console, you're gonna fail.
Yeah, I think that Microsoft does that. And obviously now it looks like Sony's going to do that too, which makes the most sense because you can't release. And again, there's just no way that they could release these 2 consoles, the ones that are here, at $400. They'd be losing like $80 a system.
Yeah.
So. What do you think they? What do you think they do though? Do you think they don't put an SSD in?
No, because you have to develop games with the SSD. Like that's
right. That's what I mean. Like, right. So like, what can you do to make it?
It's video card. It's going to be video card. much less powerful video card. You're going, what, 12 teraflops? They'll probably be around the same specs, right? They're going to be close. So if Series X is 12 and this is 13 or 11 or whatever, 12, whatever you want to call it, just exactly the same.
Let's do 12, yeah.
You're going to have a 6 teraflop entry level. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be where the Series X is, the Xbox
ray
One X.
tracing.
You're going to have the Xbox One X power for the
ray tracing.
Yeah. So that's it.
Spend $100 get extra for ray
All right.
tracing.
Another rumor, GTA 6. Is this a rumor or this is actually this is happening? We're getting GTA 6. I will gladly talk about GTA 6 for those wondering. No problem.
Sorry, just to interrupt Jim real quick. I don't know if it's happened to any of you guys, but Jim slows down a couple times here and there.
Yeah.
Why?
I thought it was me.
It's
but-
it's probably my PC. I haven't rebooted it in a while. My laptop. It's fine on my end, so I think I'm good. But
that's what I'm hoping.
There it is. It just happened.
if I slow down, you just did it to me. So okay, this is all me. GTA 6.
Yeah, there's like a YouTube channel or something, right?
Yeah, seriously, YouTube channel. There's like a trailer rumor. I mean, like I said, this is happening, and I for one welcome our new overlords, because I'm tired of GTA 5. Yes, I'm tired of GTA 5. This is the problem.
What did GTA 5 do?
You're gonna hate this game for the next 10 years too.
Why do we still talk about GTA? Why are people still buying this game? That's my problem. It's not the game. It's not the game. It's
the game.
It's the game. It's the age of the game.
We're talking about the game.
It's the number. Why are you all still buying GTA 5 when probably majority, 70, 75%, number maybe made up, have already played it?
I don't know if that's true. I just feel like it's like, oh, a game that goes with the gaming system.
I would love to know the stats of multiple generations.
How many times did Skyrim get released? How many times is Witcher being released?
I know.
Like, people...
I know. This game's always in the top 10, though. Always.
Yeah. We know.
All right. Last of the news we have is the Long Dark developer is taking their game off of Nvidia's subscription service. They've told them to remove the game. So this is interesting news, because I saw Matt Piscatella tweeting about this, about how this is actually going to bring up an interesting topic of who actually is still. It goes back to who owns a game. This service integrates with Steam and Epic, right? Nvidia's streaming thing. So if you own the game, you're technically allowed to just stream it through Nvidia's service. That's the idea. So this developer has asked them to remove their game from Nvidia's service, even if you own it on Steam. From one hand, I get that point from them. They didn't ask them to put it on their store, but they're not selling it on the store. They're streaming it through their service, right? So that's the problem. So people who actually own the game can't use Nvidia service to stream the game because developer has not gotten contact from Nvidia at all for this and not been paid for it.
Better get your discs.
Well, how does Nvidia monetize that?
Well, it's a subscription model like Netflix.
Okay.
So
I mean, if you're not getting a piece of that pie, then I can understand that.
But they're not.
No. But the thing is, you have to have purchased the game, so the developer did get their money at some point.
They've already gotten paid for it in Steam. You're just streaming it through Nvidia. Like you're bridging the service.
Yeah.
So that's where I have a big. I don't know. I personally feel like if you own the game, and it's able to be streamed, you should be able to stream the game. This goes back to like multiple generations, like owning the same game.
I think my thing for that is if I'm the developer and Nvidia is getting money from this, why am I not getting money from that?
They're getting. I mean, your argument could be they are getting money, but if nobody streams the game, they're not getting money from this. They have their subscription model anyways.
Well, the argument then would be like, well, why are streamers allowed to stream a game? Because now they're making money off of their purchase and they're just streaming the game.
No, I understand that. Absolutely. That's a form of advertisement as well in a way, and I can appreciate that, but they're streaming a game as a way to generate hype for your game. Nvidia's allowing people to stream a game that and granted, they've already paid for it. You've already paid for this game. I'm just saying, like, if somebody's making money off of something that I made, then like yeah, like
But
I would
that's the
like to
thing.
see some of that.
Like Tony just said, though, it goes right back to streamers. Like, if the wording by the developer is the developer should control where their games exist. But that's in the same argument. If you're streaming a game, monetizing it, like you're getting money from ads and everything off of this by streaming it on Twitch, they're not making any money off of that, and their game then exists that way.
Yeah, but
It's
again,
it's the same idea. Different thing. You're not playing the game. Like,
right.
I get
no,
it. But...
I mean, there's a lot of it's an interesting discussion to have, but
yeah.
I mean, I can understand where the developer's coming from. I don't necessarily agree with it myself, but again, if Nvidia is charging people to use their service, I don't know. I feel like because like streaming,
You feel like you should at least have to ask permission for this?
Sure.
I think that's what we can simple it down to.
That's absolutely. I mean, there should be like Netflix can't just throw a movie on their streaming service like because they want to. Somebody owns those rights, right? So
Yeah.
I agree with the developer where like, yeah, just like if they ask, then maybe this would have been a different story. Who knows?
But like, I mean, the idea from the service is you can log into Steam from their service and link your account so that it links your games you've purchased so that you can, it like basically forwards them to
I mean, then there needs
device.
to be some language in the Steam like terms and conditions.
I think it's more on Steam and Epic to not allow certain things to be streamed. Because once you own the game, it's you're getting into the whole platform store thing, the whole argument why people hate Epic, aren't you? I mean, you're getting into that.
Well, it's also the whole like, you know, if you own music, should you be able to play it for other people and like then give it to them? Like if you bought that music, I don't know. It's like so many rabbit holes you can go down.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, Mike?
No, I hardly understand it, but it's definitely, you know, the reason why I don't like the idea of
digital.
Going all digital, because you run into stuff like this, and we're only going to run into it more.
Like, who owns it?
And you're going to think you can do something, and the next thing you know, what you thought you had, you don't. So
yeah.
I don't know who's right or wrong, but it's just confusing for the consumer. In the end, the consumer is going to lose out for stuff like this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, this is one of those things that like that's going to hold, you know, digital streaming back. I mean, Google Stadia, we just talked about, is failing. Yeah. Nvidia is actually a service that people are willing to pay for because it's accessing the games that they already own. But now developers are being like, I'm not making more money. Like, it's like, look, I'm mostly always on the side of the developers. But this one is just getting super close to that whole, like, you remember in the 360, like the middle of the 360 era where they tried to make those keys or passes inside a new copy of the game so that you couldn't just lend it to a friend and they'd get the
Yes.
game. Like, I remember Arkham City, I never
Yep.
played as Catwoman because I never got that. I didn't pre-order or whatever Mass Effect 3, and I didn't get the DLC, like the one character that was supposedly
Yeah,
made, stuff like that.
Yep,
whatever.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's just it's super shitty. It's like, oh, we're trying to combat use sales. Like, get fucked. Like, it's so dumb. Like, no, like that I can't side with developers, so they're just being
Yeah, and like I said, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's like one of those things where I can understand where that was coming from.
But you're also doing it like, I mean, listen, if someone's going to stream the game, they can do it like jailbreak wise. They could do it. They can stream. I'm sure there's other ways to stream a game from your PC to your phone. These people are paying for an easy service to link the game that they've already owned to their device, and this is making it obviously harder. And I think, like, you're going to talk about music. I mean, I think the music industry, sure, there's pirating, but a lot of it got combated by making it easy to buy whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, and play it on anything you want. Like, there really is no restriction on once you buy an MP3. You can put it on whatever you want. And that's the idea of, if you make it easy enough, you can stop piracy from happening. Like, a lot.
I mean,
of it.
I think this really is going to hurt the dev themselves more so than anything else because of the backlash they're probably going to get from this. But again, I can understand, like, you know, just ask. Say, you know, or you need to put this in the legal conditions or whatever.
Yeah.
Either.
So
just,
right.
you know, let people know.
All right. I think it's going to wrap up.
I just want to mention this. I thought it was pretty funny. Dreams, we know it came out, like, and people have been like making some crazy shit in Dreams, like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. There's one user on Dreams said he got a call from a developer, and they offered him a job based off his work in Dreams.
Really? You know? That's awesome. That's awesome. That's always the dream.
How streamlined do they make it in this?
I mean, in Dream, you can make some crazy stuff in Dreams, like. legitimately, basically one-for-one stuff. There's a video of a guy who recreated the trailer from Ghost of Tsushima, like almost one-to-one.
Wow, that's cool.
It's ridiculous.
Interesting. So
I don't have the talent or time for that, but
nope. That reminds me of the old RPG Maker. Remember that? Yeah. So, all right. That's going to wrap up 486 of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us, podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and that like button. We appreciate it. Thank you. See you next week.